Hey everyone, tonight we're talking about something we all think we understand, but probably don't. Being tired. Not modern tired. Not I stayed up watching one more episode tired, but medieval tired. The kind of tired where your bed might bite you, your house leaks wind, and God is watching how you sleep. So get comfortable, or at least as comfortable as a medieval peasant ever got. Lower the lights, settle in, and let's take a slow walk into a time when sleep was less about rest and more about survival. In the Middle Ages, sleep wasn't private, peaceful, or predictable. It was communal, loud, cold, and occasionally interrupted by church bells, livestock, or the creeping fear of eternal damnation. People didn't chase good sleep. They endured whatever sleep happened to show up. Let's start with time. Medieval people did not go to bed because they were tired. They went to bed because the sun was gone. Without artificial lighting, darkness controlled life. Once the candles were burned down and the fire faded, there wasn't much reason to stay awake. Reading was difficult, work was dangerous, and staring into the dark too long was how you started imagining demons. So people slept early, very early. Shortly after sunset, most households would settle in. This was first sleep. It wasn't optional. It was the default setting of being human without electricity. Then something strange happened. After a few hours, people woke up calmly, normally, without panic. This period, often called the watch, was built into life. People expected it, they planned for it, and they used it. During the watch, houses quietly came back to life. Fires were stirred, candles were relit. Some people prayed, some talked, some repaired tools or checked animals. Some just sat and thought, which is a terrifying activity once you remove distractions. It was also the preferred time for intimacy. Medieval doctors believed the body was balanced, rested, and spiritually neutral during this period, which is a polite historical way of saying everyone was awake anyway. After an hour or two, people returned to bed for second sleep, lasting until dawn. This rhythm shaped everything: work schedules, prayer times, even how people thought about rest. Waking up at night wasn't anxiety, it was normal. Fast forward to today, and if you wake up at 3 a.m., your brain immediately assumes something has gone wrong. Medieval people would just nod and think, the watch. Now let's talk about where all this sleeping happened. Most medieval homes were not built for comfort. They were built to exist. Walls were stone or packed earth, roofs leaked, floors were dirt, and heat came from a single fire that also filled the room with smoke, smells, and occasionally sparks of danger. Beds were rare. Real beds were expensive. Most people slept on pallets, straw stuffed into sacks if you were lucky, loose straw on the floor if you weren't. Over time, the straw flattened, shifted, and slowly absorbed years of sweat, insects, and regrets. Straw did one thing well. It insulated. It also did several things badly. It poked, it itched, it moved, and it attracted life. Mice, fleas, beetles, sometimes snakes, depending on how exciting your region was. Families slept together. Parents, children, sometimes grandparents. Privacy did not exist. If you rolled over too far, you touched someone. If you needed space, you simply accepted that space was a luxury for the rich and the dead. Nobles, of course, lived differently. They slept in elevated beds with frames, feather mattresses, and heavy curtains. These curtains weren't decorative. They trapped warmth and kept insects out. Sort of. Noble beds were so valuable they were inherited. Land could change hands. Beds stayed in the family. Still, even the wealthy dealt with cold, which brings us to clothing. Medieval people rarely slept naked, or even lightly dressed. Most slept in their day clothes. Undressing meant exposing yourself to cold, drafts, and the possibility of never getting warm again. Nightshirts existed, but they were long, heavy, and not designed for comfort. On your head, you wore a nightcap. This wasn't fashion, it was survival. Heat escapes through the head, and medieval houses were basically wind tunnels with the pinions. The nightcap kept warmth in and hair covered, which also helped with modesty, lice control, and social expectations. In some areas, married women were expected to cover their hair even while sleeping, because God apparently might peek. Now imagine traveling. You're on the road, it's dark, you find an inn, you ask for a place to sleep. The innkeeper gestures vaguely towards a bed already containing two strangers and possibly a dog. This is normal. Medieval inns did not offer privacy. Beds were shared. If there was space, you filled it. Men, women, strangers, merchants, pilgrims, all piled together. It wasn't considered strange, it was efficient. The danger wasn't awkwardness, it was theft. Travelers slept with their belongings tied to them or used as pillows. If someone moved your bag, you woke up fast, or you woke up poorer. Still, it beat sleeping outside, where the threats included weather, animals, and other humans with worse intentions. Sleep also had a spiritual dimension. Going to bed wasn't just rest, it was preparation for death. People prayed before sleeping not to relax, but to protect their souls. You could die in the night. It happened all the time. Illness, fire, accidents, or simply existing past your 30s. So prayers mattered. People confessed sins, asked forgiveness, and requested protection from demons, nightmares, and sudden death. Children learned prayers that casually acknowledged the possibility they might not wake up. Sleep was risky. Dreams were risky. Dreams weren't random. They were messages from God, from saints, from demons, from your soul betraying you. A bad dream wasn't brushed off. It was analyzed, discussed, confessed. Monks recorded dreams. Priests interpreted them. Some dreams meant salvation. Others meant temptation. Most meant you probably should pray more and eat fewer onions. Animals often slept with people, not for comfort, for heat. Dogs, cats, chickens, goats, whatever generated warmth. In poorer homes, livestock slept indoors, sometimes inches away, sometimes on the same straw pile. The smell was ignored, warmth mattered more. Monasteries were worse. Monks slept in large dormitories on hard beds, fully clothed. Silence was mandatory. Comfort was suspicious. Sleep was a necessity, not a pleasure. They woke in the middle of the night for prayer. Bells rang, candles flickered. Sleepy monks stumbled into chapels to chant psalms in freezing air. Falling asleep during prayer could earn punishment. Sleep deprivation was devotion. So when we imagine medieval life as slow and simple, remember this. People were tired, constantly, but they didn't fight it, they lived around it. Sleep wasn't optimized, it wasn't tracked, it wasn't perfect, it was just life. And when they woke in the middle of the night, they didn't reach for a phone, they reached for faith, fire, or a goat.